Okay, so nobody's getting the truth from the mainstream media, folks. It's well past time to open your eyes, your ears, and your mind. Do your own research because something isn't right here. And if you can't see that, you are not paying attention, folks.
It's the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. Now that's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
The important message that we need Australians to get vaccinated as quickly as possible. In line with that, I do encourage all Australians to please go and book your vaccinations as soon as you can if you haven't already done so.
Emma, get away!
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Okay, we need to stand up against this tyranny, folks. Stop giving away your freedoms and liberties because the more you give up, the more these people will take until you have absolutely nothing left. That's their agenda.
All right, good evening, folks. How are you? Hit the button for us and share. Caz has just found out in the background. Kaz, I can't share out. But we do have all channels up tonight. So welcome back to the Rumble viewers. Welcome back to Twitter again. And, yeah, maybe we can hold a few of these things for a little while, guys. Who knows? Yeah, digital deadline. Exactly right. As I said to you, people, all right, if you think, I'm going to say it again, if you think that you can sign up this digital ID for convenience, so far down the tube, so you can have this and have that, I'm telling you, if they get to go their way, you will be the first ones they'll ping, guys. All right. So, like Darren just said there, it's time to make your line in the sand, guys. Okay. And be prepared to not cross it. Okay. Digital ID will ruin your life. It already is with everything that goes with it. Anyway, that's where we are, guys. So, okay, Wyambler, the trains. It's funny that the Americans have actually come out and said all they were charged the guy with was firearms because he shouldn't have had firearms and he had some firearms. But there's no US boogeyman, okay, in the USA running or having anything to do with what happened in Australia. So, yeah, that's quite interesting, guys, all right? They just, refused, So, as we know, a lot of questions around that. But anyway, now another thing we should be questioning, guys, and I don't know, this is just insanity, but this is Australia, but we got robots in the supermarkets in West Sydney. Serious shit. This is insane. I might have to go to Woolworths and have some West Sydney and have some fun, actually. I really don't know, but yeah, wow. I mean, I never thought we would see that in not this year, not next year or the year after. Wow. Blow me away. All right. So Virginia Dufresne's book coming out today, Nobody's Girl. Prince Andrew got 88 mentions, guys. 88 of them. So there's going to be some fun and games coming out there, a bit more exposure, which is great. It's good. I love it. Right, let's go up here for a minute. And right, the EV market, guys, it is failing. It's failing in a big way. Now, we've got Jamberoo Action Park down here. I actually know the gentleman. I know his son, the people that own it, actually. And, yeah, they're storing cars down there, the BYD, Build Your Dreams cars. All right, and it's a huge car park down there, guys, for Jamberoo, right? And it is actually packed with EVs. So good on you. Good on you. Obviously, well, we're not buying new cars. We probably can't afford to. But, people are not, falling for the EV. They're working it out, guys. They're realizing that you got to charge these things. You don't just walk up to a pump and put fuel in them. It just doesn't work that way. Why can't you have a 5-minute charge? Like you should be able to. Anyway, Precious Mountain on Jacinda, as we know, down there, over all this violence, guys. Melbourne is just off its chops. It is really off its chops, and let's just hope that it doesn't get up here to, I feel for the people in Melbourne. I mean, you want to be able to go to sleep in your bed at night, just knowing that you can wake up the next morning without a house invasion or, your keys to your car stolen or whatever, you know what I mean? Or worse. So, and then the huge Gladstone coal station in 2029, they're going to switch it off, guys, and they're saying that it is going to cause a lot of problems and that they need a longer, smarter phase out where you need no phase out at all. You need to start building more coal fire and get some more miners in the ground, guys, and get some more stuff going, some more industry in Australia, and we can build a few cars and, get ourselves back on top of things, couldn't we? Anyway, Caz, when you're right, mate, you non-shareable person, they got you again.
Yeah, they did. Guys, can you please share it out onto your community notice boards because that's what they really hate. So just in your local area and just any other notice boards that you are on, that would really be helpful. So I was only allowed to share out to about 5. Here's the story on the EV just quickly.
You Control the Action is now controlling Chinese electric vehicles in its off-season. Thousands of new BYD utes and SUVs are being stored in the Jamberoo car park, drawing complaints from local residents. Kiama Council yesterday refused a development application lodged by the water park's owners that would have allowed them to keep the cars parked on the lot.
And not a great road. If anyone from the Illawarra knows, Jamberoo Mountain Road, that you go through the back of Albion Park and then you head up this mountain, guys, all right? And I tell you, it's fun. In my ute, I can tell you, in my SS, it's a being, mate. It's unreal, right? But it's not the place to have cars going in and out. And if you want to go out the other way and take the round trip around, you still got to go through a little country town called Jamberoo, across some pretty small bridges to get back out on the Kiama side of things, guys. So not an ideal, even though I know the lads quite well, not an ideal place, and I can see why, people in the community be concerned. They'd be concerned about the traffic on the roads, okay? It's not a nice road. Yeah, build your own dreams, yeah. Good laugh, Phil?
Yeah, that's it. While they're sort of doing that, and look, I don't know, it's all depressing. Look at this, fees for parks now.
North Sydney may soon have to pay a fee if they
North Sydney again.
Parks for a workout or just a lunchtime gathering. So wild, isn't it? This is just blatant revenue raising. What a hide. We're in a cost of living crisis and they want us to pay to use their parks. So to get a bit of grass under your feet, a bit of vitamin D and stretch your legs when you live.
This is Australia. We are ending up, they're taking everything, they're taxing everything. They're going to fine you because you can't afford to live in a place. Now, and I'll show you that because here we have the digital ID now to rent. Check this out.
Over vast amounts of personal information to real estate agents, but that could soon be about to change. Federal politics reporter Amanda Kopp explains.
When people apply for a rental property, they need to provide their driver's license, passport, bank statements and utility bills, putting an alarming amount of personal information in the hands of real estate agents. Now the federal government is raising concerns about the risk for data breaches and identity theft, and it's looking at possible alternatives, trialling using digital IDs instead, like government-issued My IDs. whatever we can do to minimise people sharing loads of personal data about themselves and then losing control of that, I think is a good thing. Rather than giving agents...
Bearing in mind that they have had the worst data breaches of anybody.
Oh, really? No.
And like we've seen the rental lineups, but and not only that, look, Topher has done an awesome job of interviewing somebody on the windfall on the windfall of a windfall tax. And it's just horrifying. This will be coming for everybody. They start with the farmers first, but check this out.
And breathe politics. Political commentary is my thing. I'm breathing policy and taxes and all the details. And yet, even so, someone like me can still be caught out and go, hang on, I didn't realize that that was true. And one such thing happened when I was listening to former Victorian MP Jeff Shaw talking on Joel Jamal's show. And he made a comment that sent me down a rabbit hole of research and made me discover that actually the Victorian windfall gains tax is so much worse than what I actually already thought it was. And that's saying something, because I already thought it was pretty bad. I've invited Jeff Shaw onto the Topher Project. Jeff, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Topher. Thanks for having me. Good to see you.
And thank you for teaching me something new. We were just chatting before we recorded about the fact that your background is actually tax, and I guess that's probably why you're as across the details of this as what you are. Can you explain to us the windfall gains tax? There'd be some people who have perhaps never even heard of it. Can you explain what this tax is and, crucially, how it functions? Because this is the bit that blindsided me.
Well, Topher, it wouldn't surprise me that people don't know about it, because there's been over 60 taxes that have been increased or released under this government, and people have got their own lives to deal with. They got things going on, and when a tax doesn't affect you, then you don't worry about it. You don't. Oh, well, it's not to me. It's people in the country. It's people in the outer suburban area. It's the people in Pakenham, Narre Warren, these type of people down Geelong Way, out the Bellarine Peninsula, up your way, that are going to be affected. But it doesn't affect us guys in the city, which are predominantly Labor voters for the most part. So the windfall gains tax came in, and just to explain what it is, if the government comes in and they rezone a area, and you own property in that area, so let's say it could be a farm with a few hectares, or over 2 hectares anyway. That's anything over 2 hectares. So you own, 100 acres, and they rezone it, and all of a sudden it goes up. Because of that rezoning, that one decision, it goes up, $1 million. Well, the government will come in and they'll say, because of the decision we made, we just increased your wealth by $1 million. You've got to pay us 50% of that, $500,000, due, payable now, payable at the rezoning time. However, you can delay it and pay it off over you can pay it in 30 years' time. But it's going to be at the Victoria bond rate, 10-year bond rate, which is around about 5%. So 30 years, you're going to be paying the 10-year bond rate for 30 years, compounded, or you pay it up front, or when you sell, but you still get the compounded interest. If you don't pay straight away at the rezoning, you get that compounded interest.
Yeah.
And that's how that works. It's incredible that this government is magnificent on inventing new ways to tax us.
Yeah.
Inventing new ways to restrict us.
Well,
guys, head over and head over and support Topher. He does a marvelous job. He really does. So yeah, go and buy him a coffee. Dave.
Start looking into your tax, guys. It's totally illegal. You are funding child trafficking. You are funding the corporation that is actually killing you. Okay, so all I got to say is have a think about tax. I can't tell you not to pay tax, but there is a box on the form, okay, that says, would you like to pay tax next year? Everyone keeps ticking, yeah. Guys, you're helping fund the beast. This is what the 11th is all about, people. Stop. Don't feed the beast. And we can bring it to its knees.
Well, on tax, Jim Chalmers has quietly released his cash mandate regulations on Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
So you've got less than 2 weeks to comment on it, okay? And what it actually is it's not a cash mandate. The actual draft regulations limit the mandate to supermarkets and petrol stations to only a limit of $500.
How dare they? Well, I suppose, like all by design, I sit here and go, how dare they? Well, I know exactly what they're going to do. I know exactly what they're going to do for the next, 6 moves or whatever. But, yeah, guys, we got to stop this beast, man. This beast is what's controlling you. Okay?
Well,
my opinion.
All right, so what we do, so look, we've got a lot of stuff that's going on with regards to it. So you've got Moira Deeming, and she has raised the bike boy incident with regards to the Dan Andrews statue. I'll just play a bit of that.
What's going on Daniel or Catherine. Daniel Andrews was permitted to drive his smashed-up, unroadworthy car away from the site shortly after the crash. No photographs exist of the scene. The major crash investigation unit was never called, despite a child fighting for his life and having to be airlifted to hospital. To this day, not a single statement has been taken from any witnesses from the scene. Andrews has repeatedly said that Ryan crashed his bike into the side of their car. He described it as a perfect T-bone. But the original crash repair report for the Andrews car has been sourced, and it shows that there was no damage to the side of Andrews' car. The damage was to the front. It was a head-on collision. Records show that just 30 minutes after the crash... Thank you, President.
So you have that, and of course, as we expected, as we predicted would come, we now have I'll just remove that one there. We now have the police union in Victoria is what's a New South Wales permit style to regulate protests, and that's because of the weekend. So which video is coming?
Yeah. Antifa, we said, guys, Anyway, look, we know what's going on, okay? There's fun and games out there, guys, all right? But guess what? We got it together. Us patriots have got it together.
Well, we do, but see, the problem that you've got now is that the people are, the AFP is now spending taxpayer money on national security investigations teams, not to target violent thugs or criminals, okay, but for social cohesion. So I guess what they're going to be doing is monitoring your Facebook posts.
Yeah, and letting Africans chop off people's arms with machetes because that's just social cohesion. And then they go in front of the judiciary and then they get out and they get to do it again. Anyway, that's any criminal. I shouldn't be labouring a certain people, but if we're going to go with what's been going on down in Melbourne, yeah, we sort of can, can't we? But anyway, all by design, guys. These are, and this is what I mean. We got a country full of beautiful immigrants, all right, that live here with us. We've also got a heap of imports that have been brought in, right, by who? The beast. The beast who is controlling you guys. That's who brought them in here. That's who's letting them out on the street. That's who's re-letting them out on the street. We are the power. Now, you're right, Philip Martin. We are the power, son.
We've just had Dwali. Two Worlds Collide has weighed in on with regards to this.
All right, every single time I see one of these politicians slap that red dot between their eyes, I just think to myself, this is Australia's version of putting that little hat on and touching that wall. And if you know, you know. And when the Australian politicians do that, they signify to everyone around the country that they are not Australia first. Our politicians are literally owned by everyone except Australia. And you can't tell me that I'm not spitting facts here. Like this week, Jacinta Allen, Susan Ley, they'll come out this week preaching Happy Diwali. Now look, I don't mind people celebrating cultures in Australia, but when these politicians do this, they are grovelling, they are signalling to their overlords in India like good little servants, right? And you know how I know they're good little servants? Because they'll ship our coal and gas over to India, they won't tax it when it leaves our shores, and they'll tell us that we can't burn our coal and gas here because it's bad for the planet. When in reality, we share the same atmosphere and the same sky with China and India, but we send everything over there and we don't even tax it. So when I come out and say that our politicians are everything but Australia first, I completely mean it. Right, they will celebrate Chinese New Year, they'll celebrate Happy Diwali, but when it comes to Australia Day, they'll stand there and they'll call it divisive. And they'll come out and say that is disrespectful to celebrate Australia Day in this country, the country that we built. Right? Those are the gutless standards of our politicians. That is the betrayal that is happening right now in this nation. Right? These politicians are gutting Australia. Right? They're selling off our homes, our energy grids, our soul to the globalist elite and anyone with deep pockets. Right? Foreigners buy thousands of houses in Australia every single year. And in doing so, they are outbidding families in Australia. Right? And all while this happens, Albo drops $4.3 million in a mansion somewhere near the beach, which is absolutely ironic because Bowen keeps telling us that sea levels will rise. Right? And then Penny Wong, well, she's half smart. She buys in Adelaide Hills for $3.4 million. I mean, you can't tell me that our politicians aren't living like emperors, while Australian families sit there and pick between food and rent. And then some may say, hey Sam, why have you gone so nuclear lately? What's changed in you? Well, the media, our pollies, and the radical left stayed silent when the George Soros funded Antifa terrorist organisation tried to maim and kill women and children for the Marches for Australia over the weekend. And the reaction from the political class and the media, they stayed silent. So they've chosen their side. And what I'm seeing build up now is an us versus them. Because grassroots movements are forming. We need to stop voting Labor and Liberal. No one wants to vote Liberal anymore. Everyone's pushing further right because they don't represent anything. They can't even define what a biological male is. That's Susan Ley and her cronies, by the way. The moderates in the Liberal Party. They need to go or step aside or just walk to the Greens Party where they should be. All the conservatives from the Liberal Party, they need to actually be conservatives, leave the party, let it die, and then form something new. So I guess we'll see what happens. But just remember, it is now us versus them. It is now us versus them. What's your thoughts?
My thoughts are that the upcoming Australia Day, I don't know, there's marches planned around the country, guys. But, just sitting here listening to him then, and I was just thinking back, to what Australia Day, used to be and what used to happen. And, wouldn't it be good if we got a really good hit on the 11th, guys, after Remembrance Day and respecting them and remembering them and then starting our 11 days of slowing the beast? But wouldn't it be good if every community had a beach party or a get-together on that day, and bring your flags down? Because we're going to have it a lot more of an awakened community by then, maybe. So, there's different things to do on, different days. But, yeah, I reckon – I'd like to see, people that can't get to a march or whatever, or don't go to marches, let's gather at our local community, our local beach. Take your flags down, take your picnic bags, and because the community's waking up. And, if you can do in your community, get your letterbox drops out, tell them, it's just a thought, guys. I don't know. But, yeah, we've got to have protests with purpose. We've got to be waking people, in a place where we're not all together, but we're in amongst the people who don't know.
Well, on top of that, what's happened, we've covered before that in certain areas there's a massive Indian population. Now they've started their own petition, public holiday in Sydney, Australia, make Diwali a public holiday. Where is the integration? Where is the integration? There's not. It's very clear that, and the problem that we've got is that our culture, because it's derived in Christianity, that's where prosperity comes from. Okay. Yeah. And then they want to bring their religious beliefs in over here. But if anyone's been over to India, their belief system has caused that situation that they've got. It's none other than their belief system. They might say that they've been raped and the British moved in and took everything. Well, I've been in countries, third world countries, where the British have pulled out, and it's obvious that it used to be all paved and all of that sort of stuff, and that goes very quickly to SHIT, very quickly. Okay, so
and why we don't have to put up? Go on, Caz.
Well, no, the globalists wouldn't let them develop. If they had developed over a period of time, perhaps they would have developed into a society that thrives like that. But because they wouldn't let them develop, it made it very difficult. But anyway.
I'll tell you about all these people, all right, and their false gods, because we know they are. If you know, okay? So we're dealing with a heap of false gods here, guys, all right? But what did the Lord say to us? Do not bow down to false gods, all right? And by accepting their behavior and putting up with their standards, what are you doing in your community? You're bowing down, all right, to false gods. We were told, don't do it.
The what else is going on now? This actually, so they've had a big raid, and of course, it's the average punter who has printed guns. So anyway, so now law enforcement have warned that the threat is real and increasing numbers of high-quality, high-powered, homemade 3D printed guns are flooding into Australia. So you have that, and it actually just happened here in my area.
Arrested as part of a week-long crackdown on illegal guns.
The 21-year-old from Ardlethan was among 45 people nabbed in police raids. More than 500 firearms and parts were seized during the statewide operation. Now we go to our reporter Amy O'Halloran, who has more on this. And Amy, what happened?
Well, Maddie, police searched a home in Adelong last week at the beginning of the operation. Police seized 2 fake pistols, 4 homemade firearms and equipment they believed was going to make more guns. A 21-year-old was arrested and taken to Tumut Police Station.
Oh, for goodness sake. And let's not forget where it all stems from. It stems from Port Arthur, and the WASP files have just dropped a new interview with retired Andrew McGregor, retired detective Andrew McGregor. Guys, you have to go over and check it out. Here is a snippet of one of the things that he said.
You'll find it on my Twitter feed, guys. I shared it.
The same as not Howard. Yeah, there's another police statement. I read that it was wrong.
When you say wrong, do you think the procedure at which a witness
the whole procedure was ignored, and I couldn't understand why until we got. Remember when Carleen Bryan put out her book and she was permanently attacked by 60 Minutes?
Yeah, that was the book My Story, which was her book about her.
Apparently, if we're on the wrong side, we're not allowed to put out our story. But 60 Minutes in their attack then brought in a video or a photograph of the ambulance carrying Martin Bryan pulling into a Hobart hospital. And it's got a gentleman sitting in the front passenger seat wearing a camouflage gear, either army or, well, for the SOGs at Seascape, that would have been the Victoria Police. They went in with, they were anticipating having to continue on through the daytime, so they went in with camouflage while the Tasmania Police were all wearing black. So we got that photograph, and lo and behold, you have oh shit, that's the gunman.
He's managed to identify the gunman.
Yep.
So
now,
really excellent.
Why we've got people printing guns, right, and doing all these things they're doing, guys, is again all by design. And Caz is exactly right. It started from Port Arthur, okay, and therefore guns was made the issue, all right. And by design, you bring in criminals, all right, and you make it hard for them to get the guns. So, well, it's not really hard for them to get the guns. There's plenty of guns out there, believe me, guys. All right, if anyone, talks to people, I think plenty of people in Australia do have firearms, okay? But this is being pushed by the criminal element that you are letting run our frigging communities and societies. All right, that's why they're printing guns. All right, 3D printing is absolutely brilliant, man. But yeah, people can do anything they want with it. And why can you track people, right, that have downloaded the plans, right, to a gun, right, to 3D print it, but you can't do the same thing with an algorithm for everyone who goes looking for a child, okay, for the wrong purposes? You know, it blows me out. Why? Oh, I wonder why. You can target what you want.
Dave has outlined the Lima Agreement a couple of times, but just thought I'd bring this in so we have a full understanding of it.
One of the strongest manufacturing sectors in the world. But in 1975, something changed and most people still don't know about it. It was called the Lima Agreement, signed under the United Nations Industrial Development Organization. Its goal? To transfer industrial capacity from developed nations to the developing world. Australia agreed to shift production offshore, deliberately deindustrializing our economy. Since then, we've watched factories close, jobs vanish, and foreign imports flood our shelves. No factories. No jobs. No sovereignty. Did you vote for this? Or was it always part of the plan?
Well, it was.
It
So
was
that's
always
basically,
part of
yeah,
the
that's
plan.
basically that one of it. All right, so look, I'm going to bring in the flyers. So let's have a look at this.
And the Mondays at Maggie's crew is calling for tools down. It's time to stand together. A corrupt and tyrannical government is crushing industries, stripping freedoms and silencing voices. So join us every Monday at the Governor's House in Sydney at 11 a.m. And Stand in the Park, Albury will be hosting a barbecue fundraiser to save tabletop from the Yambler Range Wind Farm. Barbecue will be held on Sunday the 2nd of November at 11 a.m, Australia Park, Albury. And there will be a Truther fundraiser on Saturday the 8th of November at 5 p.m. at Davison Town Progress Hall, 5 Macaulay Street, Davistown, opposite Ferry Wharf. The cost of entry will be $20. And the Converge on Canberra crew is holding a rally for Australia's future. They are standing against social media ban, digital ID, mass immigration, government overreach, Agenda 2030, net zero and to withdraw from the WHO. The rally will be held in Canberra at 12 p.m. on Sunday the 26th of October at Parliament House Lawns. And on Saturday the 22nd of November there is an Abolish Abortion conference. This will be featuring T. Russell Hunter. In Melbourne, gather at the Governor's every Saturday to end the tyranny. 10 a.m. every Saturday at the Governor Gates. And join the Justice of the People in Melbourne every Sunday at 4:30 p.m. for a remembrance at the Shrine of Remembrance. And there is a call for every Australian to take the day off and come and pay their respects to the soldiers that sacrificed so much for this country. Lest we forget, the 11th of the 11th, 2025 at 11 a.m. at King's Domain, Melbourne. And the true story of an SAS soldier in Afghanistan, bravery and betrayal. The documentary will be in Wollongong, 23rd of October, 6:30 p.m. Started again with the vaccine injury bus tour. The dates will be 10th of November, Wollongong, 11th of November, Kiama, 12th of November, Nowra, 13th of November, Ulladulla, 14th of November, Narooma, 15th of November, Merimbula, 16th of November, Yass, 17th of November, Goulburn, and 18th of November, Bowral. And there is a court call-out for court support for Rocco versus the Tamworth Council on the 23rd of October for non-payment of rates at the James Madison Tower, Sydney. And there is a new campaign to take back the power of Australia by turning off your mains for 47 minutes from 5:47 p.m. to 6:34 p.m. on the 17th of October until the 6th of November. And there will be a mass non-compliance date against the digital ID starting on the 11th of November for 11 days. On the 11th day of the 11th month, cash only or pre-plan, no online purchases and no purchases. And every day there is a daily prayer space held on X. It's at 3 p.m. Melissa 14623
Someone just asked in the comments there, can we get out of the Luma agreement? Put me in as Prime Minister, you'll get out as the Luma agreement. I'll tell you what, Neve, other frigging agreements as well, mate. It'll be on for young and old. But that's never going to happen. You can't even get into Parliament because they steal your votes or, make sure there is no Group U and, it just disappears. And what a wild time that was, guys, going for that election. The criminality and bullshit that was going on was just unbelievable, and they got away with it. They keep getting away with it. All right.
Islands, of course, the big news at the moment. Let's have a look at that. I've cut some stuff together.
Guys that are
here in this iPass centre are drinking alcohol and smoking drugs on the steps of the primary school. I had to call the guards to remove them. This is an everyday occurrence.
Did the guards come and move them?
The guards did, in fairness to them. The guards came last week and moved them on. But our children were 2 minutes about to walk out the door of the school.
We're going to show this unelected government we mean business is to shut down the country. That's the only way. That's the only way they're going to listen to us, because by they're using our taxes to bring in these economic migrants, and they're not going to listen to anything. We can march, we can protest, we can run around fucking naked, and there's no one going to take any fucking notice. But the fact that we shutting down everything, no money, shutting the economy, like all they're worried about is the economy. Do you know? Like if the whole country just shut down for one day, what would they do? What a kick in the fucking balls it would fucking give them, like, you know?
Imagine 11 days, guys. Imagine 11 days. Oh, the beast will collapse.
Rebecca Barrett, writes that myself and my husband attended the protests. Okay, would have been perfectly safe, except for that as we marched the Gardai. Okay, the Gardai. It was actually, which is equivalent to their police. Yeah, baton charged and pepper sprayed the crowd, including many women and children. So they had to back off, and they only made it back as they went to their car. Somebody had blown up the Gardai car, and then the many patriots in the crowd had to escort her and her children to safety.
Yeah, it's insanity. That's what they're going to do here, guys. That's what they're well on the way to doing here, right? They're supplying them the boats. We've told you. All right, they're using your money to actually refurb these boats. I told you probably between 50 and 100 grand a boat to get them up to safety standards, to get them over there, all right, so they can get back and then reorganise and get back in a good boat while people are sleeping on the street. Come on, Australia, wake up.
And then in other news, we've got, so this is Japan's first female prime minister. I think it's pronounced Sanae Takaishi, and she is immediately going to send calling for mass deportations. And she goes, "We're sending them all home." She goes, before re-immigration, and she campaigned on that, and she won on that. But having a look around the world and having a look at the government's lack of response to any of the marches and anything we do. Australia, we have to make a decision, and it has to be done very quickly, because otherwise we're not ever going to be able to vote them out, because they're bringing in the exact people who are going to vote for them. And they know this. There's no opposition at the moment. There is no opposition. It's going to be Labor for the rest of your life. Anthony Albanese has already stated that he wants to be the longest-serving Prime Minister. Why doesn't he just make himself a dictator while he's at it?
Well, he'll probably just draw up some new laws where he can just stay in. He doesn't need a vote anymore, you know. I got the majority of the polls, so you do it for me, Caz. You're doing well.
Yeah, well, that's it. All right, now on other news, which is very interesting. Now, we saw Candace Owens covered the spike, the intelligent or the algo spikes out of Israel with regards to people surrounding Charlie Kirk. They've picked up another one. So this is Eric Trump. These are the people around Eric Trump, okay? And there's been a spike in interest over where he's going to be. And so massive spike for Chase Hero, Eric's top associate. And also for East Alabama Medical Center in Prime. And that is where he would be taken if something had happened to him. So it's very interesting. And see, when they say that we are the news now, they're absolutely correct. Yeah. And so the people who you see me using Anthony out of Anthony Kalouf stuff, Australia versus the Agenda, Topher stuff, Sam Bamford stuff. Guys, all of those guys, please go buy them a coffee because they provide excellent stuff, and we use it for free, which they provide for us. But like the thing is that they're the ones that are actually doing the hard yards on it.
Look, there's a lot of people out there doing a lot of good stuff. Okay, so yeah, just get behind those people that are breaking out the stuff, guys. That's what it's all about. You know, a few comments here. But anyway, look, you know, just get this in your head, guys. It's got to have purpose. Whatever we're doing needs a purpose. Okay, all right. It can't just be a get together for having a get together anymore. You know what I mean? We need to have purpose in what we're doing, and we've got plenty of purpose and plenty of ways we can do it. We just need all you people to come on board and do it.
All right, we're doing a remix. Dan, the trumpet man, Trumpet Dan, he wrote Nothing Can Stop the Awakening, and there's been somebody's cut a remix or a new video to it, so we've been taken out by that. So, Dave, if you'd like to wrap up and close the show, I'll hit play.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks, Mel. Look, guys, if you realise what the beast is, okay, and you've been watching this show for a while, okay, you'll understand that the beast is the thing that controls you. Okay, so if you want to get it a bit loose from your controllers, okay, seriously think about the 11th, guys, and then remember our fallen, remember our forefathers that fought for us, all right, and carry on that 11 days of starting to shut down and slow down the beast, okay, because we can do it, guys, all right, and, you know, what a talk in the community that would be, what chatter that would be, you know, that all these people had just stopped. They're all at the beach. You got cricket boy. What are you guys? Oh, no. So, you know, we're all striking. So, guys, you got to get it out there. Craig's showing you there's stuff out there. Penny's got stuff. Johnson, Bergsworth, they've all got like different flyers out. Obviously, the Bergsworth one's for Melbourne down there. But, guys, what do you want to do on the 11th? Get thinking about it, okay? Remember, first, all right, remember the fallen, right? Get it into our spirit, what we're doing this for. All right, and you're doing it because we're giving away and we're letting them take. We're not giving it away. We are just letting them take, all right, what our forefathers fought for. Okay, as I said, my granddad was a Rattlebrook, but I know one thing at the moment, he'd be sitting out there and he'd be proud of punches me. He really would be, all right? Because why? Because I've drawn a line in the sand and he knows it. And I'm prepared to go to battle. So, guys, we got to motivate you. We need to do this, okay? We want this country. Okay, we want this country as it is. Less a few people. All right, the ones that are causing problems. But the rest of the people are quite welcome. They've been here a while. You know? Anyway, let's sort it out, Australia. Good night.
Against the pedophiles or you don't. Simple as that. Beautiful freedom fighters. It's been over 3.5 years and we've grown, and we know the more that we see how things are truly messed up and how it's just not how it's meant to be. But at least now we finally get to celebrate, for we know that the Great Awakening is here. That's right, people, it's time to shake it off. It's time to release all of the fear. Now, everyone I know has got a different idea about how to get out of this. And a lot of people can't even agree about what this really is to begin with, and that's all right. I'll say it again, as I've said it before. Without any doubts, this truly is a spiritual war. Nothing can stop the awakening. There's nothing you can do. Nothing can stop the awakening. Because the truth keeps shining through. Yeah, now they're betting we're just sitting around and forgetting the tyranny. Lest we forget, the government stands shooting kids in the face at the Shrine of Remembrance. That's their legacy. And it's most certainly more than highly likely that no one's even interested in any sort of an apology, even slightly, but that's alright, because the king likes to fight for what's right, and that's the difference, you see. In a way, I almost feel like I should be thanking them, because what they've effectively done is create a whole new breed of champions. Sure, they thought they had us broken and torn, we'd almost lost hope, but in the light of the morn we sing and we praise, for we have a new king. As we welcome the dawn, we sing. And the ministry of truth will tell